How do you find your unconscious limiting beliefs so you can actually remove them? This is one of the hardest questions to answer, but I'm going to answer it for you today because I believe the hardest part of transformation or inner work or self-growth work is finding the root cause. Now, that's often going to be a limiting belief or a perception. So I'm going to focus on limiting beliefs for today, and I'm going to show you the 4 ways of how to remove your limiting beliefs, how to find your limiting beliefs. Then I'll actually give you a process to remove it. So you could literally do this one to find your limitations, and then I'll give you the actual process to remove them and rewire those limitations. So if that interests you, please like the video, subscribe, leave a comment down below. It honestly means the world. Let's begin. So let's define what beliefs are. Beliefs are repeated thoughts that we take on and create as truth. We make it true. It's a conviction or an assumption that we assume to be true. It could look like, I'm not enough. I'm not worthy of love. No one loves me. The world is evil. I can't be successful. Money doesn't grow on trees. Whatever beliefs you have, you make them true. This is why it's so limiting, hence the term limiting belief. Now, there's obviously empowering beliefs like I am enough, I am worthy, I'm capable of anything. So when it comes to, quote, limiting beliefs, the way I view it, it's beliefs that stop you from having the things that you want. That's it. They're beliefs that would stop you and limit you from having the things that you want. So, and that will be different to other people because what's empowering to one person may not be empowering to someone else. And that's okay because everyone's unique with their journey, with what they want, their purpose, their values, their vision, all those good things. So I just want to start with that. Now, I'm going to take you through, well, firstly, there's 2 things. Number 1, if you want to grab a free training to actually remove any limiting belief, go to my YouTube and type in Lewis Huckstep limiting belief. And it's this video here. It's got about sort of just under 5,000 views right now. And it's this one that you can see on my screen. Remove any limiting belief in this video. That actually does the full process. So you can go do that with any limiting belief that you discover. So that's the process right there. But now I want to show you how do you find your own limitations? Because again, I think it's the hardest part because a fish doesn't know that it's in water. So this is a visual. If you're not watching my screen, I'm sharing my screen right now. And there's a jar. And think of that jar as your identity. You could say ego. Now, I define ego as your human identity. Some people think ego is, quote, bad. I don't believe that to be true. Your ego is everything. It's all of your beliefs, your unconscious, your conscious, your perceptions, your memories, everything in your conditioning of your computer or your mind. That for me is what your ego is. It's your human identity. Everything you believe to be true, to not be true, everything you believe about reality and the world is your ego. It's not good nor bad. It's everything. It's just about finding the limitations within the ego. It's like a computer. If you download a virus, it's going to shut down. It's going to malfunction. It's going to, quote, sabotage. That's just the beliefs that are holding you back. They're the limiting beliefs, and they're the ones that we want to find and then remove so they stop limiting you, right? I hope this is making sense. Let me know your thoughts in the comments if you're getting some value as well. So this is a visual that really helped me. So think of a jar as your identity. It's your beliefs, your filters. It's everything that you perceive to be true and believe to be true. Now, you are in your own jar. You are in your own world. There's one Earth that we live on, but I'm not sure how many people on the planet these days, 8 billion, I think. There's 8 billion individual worldviews that are out there. I live in my world, my identity. You live in your world and your identity. And so does your partner and your friends and your family. So we all live on the same Earth, but we all live in different worlds. Please understand that. It's a subtle but very powerful difference. Because you are in your own world. You're in your own identity. You're in your own jar if you're watching the video of this training. Now, the challenge is, it's very hard to read the label of the jar whilst you're in the jar. You might have heard the term, you can't see the forest through the trees. I love Wayne Dyer. He's one of my favorite mentors. Obviously, he's passed away. Incredible man. His top 3 books I've ever read, one of those books is his. It's Change Your Thoughts, Change Your Life. And he has some beautiful quotes I love. It says, one of them is, you don't see things the way they are, you see things the way you are. French kiss. And when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Mwah, another French kiss for Mr. Wayne Dyer. So The challenge and the hardest part, as I mentioned earlier, about finding your limitations or doing inner work is the ability to become conscious of what your limitations are. I haven't got my glasses with me, but I've been wearing like these blue light glasses to help me with like screens. I should probably have them on right now, but it is what it is. But say I've got glasses on right now. Those glasses would be my filters. They would be my beliefs. They would be my perceptions. It would be my conditioning. And I would see life through the lens of those filters. If I believe I'm not enough, that's what I see. And it's what you create. You create your identity. You create your reality. You create the world that you live in because it's your world. It's a projection of you. I love this as well. We are projectors. Our entire life is a projection. Most people spend their entire lives trying to change the projection, not the projector. That's why so many people are stressed, overwhelmed, anxious. They repeat unhealthy, toxic patterns in their professional life, in their relationships. And it's because they're trying to do the skills. Now, skills are part of it. You might have heard this, that success is 80% psychology, 20% skills. The skills are important. You can't just like manifest your dreams without taking action, without doing something. There's both, but 80% of it is psychology. It's beliefs. Because the thing is, the skills are everywhere. Jump on ChatGPT and say, hey, I want to build a business. Where do I start? Hey, I want to invest money. Where do I start? Like it will literally, and teach it to me like a 6-year-old. It will tell you what to do in terms of skills. The skills are, you've got so much access to the skills these days. But why do most people struggle? Why do most people have unhealthy relationships? Why do most people have an unfulfilling life? Because they haven't addressed the bigger piece to that puzzle, which is their mindset, which is their beliefs, their perceptions, their conditioning. Now we're talking about mainly beliefs today, but trauma and perceptions tie into it, but we're going to focus mainly on beliefs. So to circle this in and to move forward, finding and becoming conscious of the limiting beliefs is the hardest part. It's the hardest part. But I'm going to show you the 4 ways that I do and what I use for my clients to help them find theirs. So, as I mentioned before, a fish doesn't know that it's in water. So, this is a biggie. Everyone is doing the best with what they have with their current level of conditioning or their current programming. I'm getting ready to become a father in March next year. So me and my beautiful wife are expecting our first baby child. We're having a baby girl. And I'm starting to learn about parenting and being a parent and all these things that you don't get taught in school, right? And it's something that was like mind-blowing to me is I think it's around 4 or 5 years old. It might be 3, between 3 to 5 years old. Children or babies don't have the capacity to regulate their emotions. They need help regulating. They need soothing. They need co-regulation. So think of this. Let's use a 3-year-old. Say a 3-year-old is crying their eyes out, being emotional, and you go up to the child and say, stop being emotional, stop crying, regulate yourself. You're asking them to do something they have no capacity to do. It's such a great visual for me anyways, where if your partner, your friends, your family, your loved ones, they're not working on themselves, they're being a bit of a victim, they're repeating quote bad patterns, and they haven't been exposed to it yet, they're not aware of what we're talking about, they're doing the best of what they have. Like, give them some grace. Now, to hold you accountable, once you become aware of it, it's now your responsibility. With great power comes great responsibility. So once you become conscious and aware that you get to choose your beliefs. Hear me what I just said. You get to choose your beliefs. To some degree, when it comes to personal identity, like I'm not enough, I'm too much, no one loves me, you can choose those beliefs. You can rewire those beliefs. You can do that. And I'm going to show you how to find those beliefs very soon. Go do that program, that training that I told you to do for free. It's free on YouTube. So again, no excuse. Go do it. But again, everyone's doing the best what they have with their current level of conditioning. So give your friends and loved ones some grace. Let's get to it. You can't be held accountable to something you're not aware of. How do you become aware of your limiting beliefs? There are 4 ways. Let's get to it. Number 1, majority of people can become aware of some of their own limiting beliefs. Self-reflection, introspection, meditation, journaling, just becoming conscious of your thoughts. It's your repeated thoughts that create those limitations. It's the meanings. It's the things you keep repeating yourself subtly or even out loud. You can become conscious of your own limitations. I'll share this little story for you. So I went to a friend's birthday party, and for my clients that know me, I barely leave the house. I work from home, I go to the gym, I work back from home, I hang out with my wife, I hang out with my dogs and my cat. My dogs are actually right next to me right here. And I like working from home. I do very little travel. I don't do too much socializing. I do a bit of like tennis and like paddle and stuff like that. But I'm a bit of a hermit crab, bit of a homebody. So I got invited to a birthday. I normally say no to those things, but I said yes because he's a really great friend of mine. Chev, if you're watching this, love you, brother. And he invited me to his 30th birthday. And I felt a little bit anxious because I didn't know many people. So I started going there. I went to the party. And I'm literally like in the Uber, like regulating myself, going, trying to regulate, do a diaphragm reset and like calm myself down. And I got to the party and I was super uncomfortable. I was anxious. I had resistance. I was not happy. I was not comfortable. I was not having a great time. And I love this quote. To the degree you resist reality is the degree that you suffer. I'm going to repeat that. To the degree you resist reality is the degree that you suffer. So whenever you have mental or emotional resistance outside of real fight or flight, outside of real survival instincts, if a tiger comes into your room right now or my room, we'd both get triggered into a survival response. So if you're not in danger, real survival, if you have mental or emotional resistance, it's you. It's a projection of your beliefs or your perceptions. Okay? So back to the story. I'm at this party. I'm having a shit time. I'm not enjoying myself. I'm super uncomfortable, super anxious. And I actually become aware of a coping mechanism of mine. I drink a lot of water to stay hydrated and all that good stuff. But I also realized if you're at a party, if you always need to go to the bathroom, take a wee, you can always get out of the social setting. So I became conscious because I kept shooting to the bathroom and kept drinking more water. Because one, you can fill up your water to get more water and you can go to the bathroom again. So it's like you got 2 get out of jail free cards to get out of a social setting if you feel uncomfortable. And I had a bit of an awareness, an epiphany moment, which I thought was quite funny because I've done that pretty much my whole life. Anyways, I'm lining up to go refill my water, my get out of jail. I was using one of my get out of jail free cards. I'm lining up to get some water. And my friend Mason, good old Mace, best mate, absolute legend. Me and him talk about this stuff a lot. He understands beliefs and perceptions and trauma and all this stuff. And I tell him and say, hey, bro, I'm really uncomfortable. I'm really anxious. I'm not having a great time. And he just asked me a simple question. He said, bro, what's causing it? Why is that? He just asked me a simple question. And I said it out loud. I said, I hate shallow conversations. And I just said it out loud. I didn't even see it until I said it. Now, picture this. If you have a belief, which I did, that I hate shallow conversations, and I know where that memory came from. I got told that many years ago, and I took it on, and that was a belief I took on. If I then go to a situation, what do you think I'm going to be looking for? Shallow conversations. Because what you look for, you find. If I say, don't look for a yellow bus, you look for a yellow bus. So if I don't want shallow conversations, guess what I'm going to find? Shallow conversations. And then when I find it, I'm going to feel shit or anxious or uncomfortable because I don't like it. Can you see that little cycle? And then anyways, I didn't see it until I said it out loud. And then I did my ego process. So that process I told you to go do, it's free, do it after this video. I did that exact process instantaneously. You can remove beliefs in seconds when you know how to. Once you do that process, you can remove limiting beliefs within seconds. I literally took a breath whilst I was lining up for my water, took a big breath, asked the magic question. You'll learn the magic question when you go do the process. And I reset that belief. I literally felt my shoulders drop, my heart open, my lungs open and relax. I felt so different because I stepped out of that limitation into a different identity. You understand when you do the process. And then I literally got my water and I went back into this party and I went into a different party as a different person and I had a great time. So, point of the story is you can become conscious of your own limitations by just being conscious of your thoughts, being conscious of your words, being conscious of the things you keep repeating to yourself internally or externally. I just hadn't seen that one until I said it out loud. So that's the first way. Second way of finding your own limiting beliefs. Be conscious of when you get triggered. So a trigger, again, resistance. So me feeling anxious is a trigger. So there's more like your kind of explosive, instantaneous triggers. That's definitely one as well. Whenever you have resistance, if I was to reword that second point, wherever you have mental or emotional resistance, there's something there. It will be either a limiting belief, which is what we're talking about today, or it will be trauma. Again, I've done trauma heaps on my other podcast. Go do that. But we're talking about beliefs here. So when you get triggered, when you go into a stress response, a sympathetic or parasympathetic triggered response, fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, when you're knocked out of balance, become conscious. Regulate I talk about two different types of tools. There's regulation and integration. So regulation is what you do in the moment when you're triggered. So when I was driving to the party and I was anxious, I was trying to regulate myself. I didn't do a great job, but I was trying to regulate myself. So that's regulation. And then we have integration. Integration is integrating, healing, addressing, rewiring the beliefs and the trauma that's creating the resistance to start with. But if you just think of resistance, whether it's triggers, projection, judgments, negative resistance in your life, if you just think of that as a sign and a clue of something you get to work on, it is so powerful. I love this quote. You attract people and situations to reveal where you have not healed. Listen to that again. You attract people and situations to reveal where you have not healed. So when you get triggered, when you have resistance, when you have judgment, when you project onto someone, when you judge yourself, it's all outside of real fight or flight, outside of real survival. Outside of that, it's an opportunity for you to find something you get to work on. What a gift. I've said it heaps of my content. Your triggers are your gifts. Your triggers reveal the parts of you that you get to integrate and heal and love. That's what self-growth is all about. You'll do that a lot in your intimate relationships and with your kids, just so you know. Anyways, let's continue. The third way to become conscious or find your limitations is someone can reflect back to you a limiting belief that you weren't aware of. That should say weren't. I need to fix it up. So someone can reflect back to you a limiting belief you weren't aware of. That's where my friend Mason kind of did it. He didn't really point out the belief. He just asked me a question and I found it myself. So it was more the first step there. But as I do this for a living, to be honest. Like I'll be talking to someone and they'll say, oh, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this, but I'm just not enough to do this, 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 this. Hang on, pause, go back 2 sentences, say that one more time really slowly. I'm not enough. Interesting. Can you see that? Oh my God, I didn't see that until now. And sometimes you need to go a couple layers deeper. It's like you might hear something like, I need to achieve this, I need to achieve this, I have to do this, I have to do this. Well, why not? If you were to not achieve that, what does that make you? I'm just not blah, 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 blah. I'm not enough. You go a couple layers deeper till you circle back to I'm not enough. Something like that. Now, that's the benefit of having coaches. That's the benefit of having mentors. That's the benefit of having conscious people around you. I'll share a quick story here. I had a client, I was doing an in-person session at my house. I rarely do those, but she asked for it, so I did it. You got to pay extra for that. And then she came over and we did the process. We did my balancing process, which is my trauma process. And then we were just sort of having a chit chat, connecting a little bit, just getting to know each other a little bit more. And she said something. And I asked her a question, actually. She asked me a question. Let me say that again. She was asking me no, I'm going to rephrase that. I'm going to start again. I was asking her questions about her. I was trying to understand her. So tell me about yourself. What do you do? What do you love? What are you into? What inspires you? What's your vision? All this stuff I love talking about. And then she answered for like 5 seconds. She gave me like a 5-second answer. And she said, oh, I don't have to talk about this. What about you? Tell me about you. I said, hang on. I'm going to take a breath here. I'm going to take a pause. Do you realize as soon as I asked you to talk about yourself, you deflected and came back to me? Do you have challenges talking about yourself? I do. Why is that? And then I could just keep following that breadcrumb and it came back to, I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy, so why would I talk about myself? I want to talk about someone else. But that's the benefit of having conscious people around you. Having a mentor, a coach, a partner, friends, people that can consciously reflect back to the things you don't see. Because remember, you're the fish in water. You're the person in your own worldview, in your own jar, in your own identity. So having an external person reflect things back to you, your blind spots, is really powerful. Number 4 is to do a probing tool. So probing tools are awesome. You just ask questions to get people to think. So I like to say, what's the earliest memory of you not being enough? Now, if you go do my process that I gave you for free, it's on YouTube, the limiting belief process, that's the probing tool I use in that example. I use that exact tool. What's the first time you felt guilt? What's the first time you felt not enough? Why can't you achieve this? If you were to achieve this, if you were to not achieve this, what would that make you? It's just asking questions to get people to become conscious of their unconscious. That's all you're doing. Now, that takes a little bit of skill and you get better at that. That's why, again, working with coaches, mentors, and people to help you increase your level of awareness helps significantly with this. But those are the 4 ways to find your limitations. I believe, in my opinion, the hardest part of integration, healing, self-development work is finding the root cause. And for a lot of the integration work, it's going to either be a belief, a limiting belief, or trauma. I've done heaps of content and podcasts on trauma if you want to go learn more about that, but we're mainly talking about beliefs today. I hope that helped. Please go do the training. Jump off here, go to YouTube, or if you're still on YouTube, type in Lewis Huckstep limiting belief. It's this one here. It says remove any limiting belief in this video. Go do that. It's literally free. And you will either use any belief you've currently got, you may be aware of one right now, or I will use a probing tool in that video to help you find it, okay? I hope you got value. Please subscribe, please like, please share this to your partner, your friends, your loved ones. If you're interested in working with me on a deeper level and actually getting all of my tools, all of my integrations, my frameworks, everything I do, I offer a free 7-day program and you get a one-on-one call with me. The link will be down below. I appreciate you guys. Stay well. Hope you enjoyed this video. See you soon. Bye.